everybody, and today is a long-awaited video. The Premier League predictions. We're going from 20th to 1st, and we're jumping straight into it in 20th place with AFC Bournemouth. Haven't invested enough in the squad, and Dominic Solanke, 29 goals in the Championship. If he can replicate that, then they'll obviously be safe. But I don't see that happening, and they're going to finish 20th. Philip Billing had a brilliant season in the Championship, 10 goals, 10 assists. The likes of Lerma, Kiefer Moore, and the youngster Jayden Anthony, who's only 22. This is an exciting squad, but I can't see them finishing anywhere else than 20th. And in 19th place, it's Fulham Football Club. Good transfers in João Palhinha, Andreas Pereira, Kevin Mbabu, and Bernd Leno, but I don't think it'll be enough. Now, that Serbian striker, Alexander Mitrovic, 46, no, was it 46? No, it was 43 goals, I believe, in the Championship. Broke records, which is unbelievable from the Serbian, but I don't see him replicating that form in the top flight. But the likes of Harry Wilson, let's see how they can cope with the Premier League. This is a good squad, but they've lost Fabio Carvalho, who was in the team of the season, right? They've got an okay defence with Tosin Adarabioyo there. Adarabioyo is a fantastic centre-back, but it's not going to be enough. 19th place. And in 18th, a team from Merseyside. Everton are going down. It's a fact, okay? Richarlison, absolutely key last season. He has gone to Tottenham, right? And look at the signings. Dwight McNeil, Ruben Vinagre, James Tarkowski. Like, good footballers, but I don't see them being enough to keep them up. If Jordan Pickford gets injured as well, he saved them a little bit last season. And if DCL gets injured, then they'll have to play Rondon up front, and that is a relegation sort of plan. I don't see this being a good season, and I think Frank Lampard will be sacked by Christmas. In 17th, I've gone for Leeds United. Most people are tipping them to go down. I think they'll survive. Look at the signings. Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, Mark Roca, Tyler Adams, and in particular, the new Rafinha, Luis Sinisterra, the Colombian magician. However, they have lost Calvin Phillips and Rafinha. Patrick Bamford, though, he's coming back from an injury. It's like a new signing anyway. Meslier is a fantastic goalkeeper, but his defence in front of him lets him down. We'll see if maybe before the end of the window they can sign a top-class centre-back, because that is maybe what they need. But I think Leeds will be fine. I think Jesse Marsch, if he's there or if he isn't, can do an okay job, and I don't think they'll go down. Just ahead of Leeds, in 16th, I've gone for a club from the South Coast. It's Southampton. Now, they've got a good manager in Hasenhüttl, very solid man, and I think he doesn't go down. He just doesn't go down. It's not a Hasenhüttl thing. He'll keep them up. He's very safe. And some decent signings. Two youngsters from Manchester City, Gavin Bazunu, a goalkeeper, and Romeo Lavia, an 18-year-old DM, as well as Joe Aribo from Rangers, who's proven it at the big stage in the Europa League as well. So this has not been a bad window from Southampton, and I can see the team doing pretty well, especially the youngsters getting 1 year older. Carl Walker-Peters, brilliant season last year. He's 25 now. He's going to mature even more, probably get a move to a bigger club because he's good enough. And the likes of Mohamed Salisu, fantastic player. He's 23 years old, brilliant centre-back. Last season had a great year. He's getting 1 year older. And Valentino Livramento, who does have an ACL injury, when he comes back, they're flying. And not to mention James Ward-Prowse, the best player on this team, arguably the best player outside the top 6 clubs. Fantastic free kick taker, and he could carry this squad on his back. Hasenhüttl, I think, will stay the whole season, and it'll keep them up. In 15th, I've gone for a newly promoted big club, huge amount of fans. Nottingham Forest are staying in the Premier League. Because look at all the signings. Moussa Niakate, Taiwo Awoniyi, Jesse Lingard, Dean Henderson. Oh my gosh, mate. Nico Williams, they're going to fly, right? Brennan Johnson had a brilliant season in the Championship, right? Scoring 16 times and getting 10 assists, which is very good. Sam Surridge can also be an option. He scored 9 times last season. And Taiwo Awoniyi, one of their new signings, look at his record in the Bundesliga. 15 goals last season. He is a special, special player, right? And I believe in this team, right? I really, really do. The likes of Jesse Lingard can really get into their own in this team and potentially carry it. Steve Cooper, great manager. They're not going anywhere near the relegation zone. And in 14th, I've got a club that surprised a lot of people last year, and second season syndrome could happen, but I don't think it will because the signings were fantastic. Brentford are finishing 14th. Thomas Frank, brilliant manager. Matt Benham, brilliant owner, so it's a very well-run club. And Ivan Toney last season was really, really starting to do what was expected of him when he was banging goals in the Championship. 12 goals last season. And the likes of Brian Mbeumo up front as well, who bagged 4 times, got 7 assists. Johan Wissa had a good season last year with 7 goals. Christian Norgard, obviously MVP of the squad. However, they have lost Christian Eriksen, but they have replaced him with some very good signings. I'll get onto that in a minute, but Ben Mee is a very good signing on a free Premier League experience. Thomas Strakosha is a good backup keeper. But the 2 main signings, Aaron Hickey from Bologna, right, 20-year-old, he looks unreal, right? He could be really good. And the main one, the replacement for Christian Eriksen, Keane Lewis Potter, 21-year-old, and he had some brilliant stats in the Championship last season from Hull, right? 12 goals, 3 assists, and well, we shall see how we can do in the Premier League. But a youngster who Thomas Frank can turn into a fantastic player. Brentford will not be getting relegated, I'm almost sure of that. 13th, Crystal Palace. Now, Patrick Vieira did an incredible job, right, last season, and he really changed some players around, right? He's basically, and the experience that this squad is getting, right? The younger players are going to mature more this year. The likes of Tariq Mitchell, who's 22, right? Last season, I think, second most tackles in the Premier League. Well, what a guy though. Like, he's 22 and he hasn't actually been at Palace, played many games. He's played 65 games for Palace, 36 were in last season, but he's really matured into a fantastic left back. The likes of Mark Guehi, again, he came from Chelsea for I think it was 18 million. He's 22 as well. Brilliant season last year next to Joachim Andersen, who is 26. So again, he's not an old player by any means, right? And then you add to that Eberechi Eze, right? He's 24. And Michael Olise, I really can't wait to see him this year. He is going to terrorise. He's only 20, right? Mateta as well, I think he's 25. And they've just signed Cheikh Doucouré, the Malian centre-mid. He's 22. This squad is so young, but so good. Patrick Vieira is going to take them to 13th, and they will be climbing up, right? Just, they've got to sustain that mid-table, and in a couple of years, they could be pushing for Europe. 12th place, and I've gone for Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think the only complaint with them is they're not spending money, right? They've signed Nathan Collins, which isn't a bad signing, but they need to spend more, right? Raul Jimenez is out injured. Fabio Silva's gone out on loan. Who's going to play striker? Will it be Patrick Cutrone, Hwang Hee-chan, or will it be Pedence's job to score goals? Last season he got 2, right? Pedro Neto, however, is back from injury, right? Which is a very, very, very good news for Wolves because he's a fantastic player. And defensively, they're really solid. Jose Sarr, Connor Cody and Max Kilman at the back. And Bruno Lage is a great manager. I just think the board have got to spend a little bit more money, particularly if Ruben Neves goes, then where's the creativity going to come from? But I think they need a striker to put the goals away and another midfielder. I think defensively they're really good though, and they will not be in a relegation battle. I don't believe anyway. 11th place, I've gone for Leicester. Now, last season wasn't a very successful one, and I think this season is going to be even worse because they haven't signed any players, right? And I can understand why, but if Kasper Schmeichel goes, then that's trouble. And if Yuri Tielemans goes, then who are you going to replace him with? Because I know you still have James Maddison, but he's been linked with Newcastle, right? However, Vardy will score over 15 goals. Last season he got 15. He only played 25 games, right? He's an unbelievable player, and he's definitely not finished. He will keep scoring goals. Keenan Dewsbury-Hall, right? 23-year-old. He's going to probably have another breakthrough year this year. I can see that happening. Wilfred Ndidi, 25 only. I did not know that. I thought he was a little bit older. But James Maddison, last season, his stats were unbelievable. 12 goals, 8 assists. If he can keep that up again, then there'll be high interest next summer of somebody to get James Maddison. But it's, it's interesting. Next up, in 10th, I've gone for Aston Villa, managed by Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard, and they have made some quality business. Oh, the likes of Boubacar Kamara, Diego Carlos, Coutinho on a permanent. These guys are good players, and Steven Gerrard is really building a squad there. And Emi Buendia, I think that this will be his year, right? He was born on Christmas Day, 4 goals, 6 assists last season, and it wasn't a particularly good season. I think this year he could be unbelievable. Jacob Ramsey, he's getting a year older. He's 21 now, and I like the squad. And if Danny Ings and Ollie Watkins don't start scoring goals, Cameron Archer, right? He was on loan at Preston North End in January. He scored 7 goals in 20 games. He could come and play for them, right? It's going to be an interesting season for Aston Villa, but I think if you're a Villa fan, there's stuff to get excited about because this will be a good future. 9th place, I've gone for Brighton and Hove Albion. And I know you're like, oh, they've just lost Basuma. Oh, you're mugging us off. They can't be 9th. Yes, they're 9th. Graham Potter knows what he's doing. Yes, they also might lose Cucurella, but they've basically already got cover for Basuma. Moises Caicedo, brilliant end to last season, and he will probably be the cover for Basuma, right? And there's a lot of youngsters there. And Denis Undav, they have a striker, right? They've got a striker. Jeremy Sarmiento, another Ecuadorian, he's 20, right? I'd like to see more of him in the first team because he looks like a man with a lot of promise. And also the 18-year-old Kasper Kozlowski, he went on to Union Saint-Gilloise, right? I want to see more of him as well. He doesn't look like a bad player. And Leandro Trossard, fantastic season last year for a player playing in a team that doesn't score many goals. He got 8 and 3 assists, right? And now that they've got that striker and a youngster in Julio Enciso has been signed, Graham Potter knows what he's doing. 9th place for Brighton and Hove Albion. 8th, I've gone for the Geordies. The richest club in the world, Newcastle United, and they are really going to push on this year. I don't think they'll do as well as some people think, where they'll break top 6. I don't think so. But 8th is a good finish, right? It's a good finish. And the signings, Nick Pope, Sven Botman. But what Eddie Howe did at the end of last year is unbelievable. How he turned them from 20th to 11th. And Bruno Guimaraes, right? 24-year-old, 5 goals, 1 assist. And he turned that team around creatively. And he will be a really good player for them this season. I'm almost sure of that, right? One thing that they need is another striker, I'd say another winger and a midfielder. But defensively, they look really strong. And Joe Linton, I want to see what he can do because he looks like a beast this year. And next up, we're going into 7th place with the Hammers! West Ham United. Yeah, they are going to finish 7th. And David Moyes has had 2 fantastic seasons. Let's not forget, 3 seasons ago, they were in a relegation battle. Right, David Moyes has done extremely well, and they can really have another year of that. And if they have 3 seasons in a row, then West Ham are going to soon turn into a big club if one of the big 6 falls away. And the signings of Flynn Downs and Naif Aguerd, very good players. Naif Aguerd for 30 million, but the main one, Gianluca Scamacca, 23-year-old, scored 16 goals in the Serie A last year. He is a finisher. He can score goals. And if he does it for West Ham, then West Ham could even maybe push into the top 6. Because I've seen him play. He can play. In 6th place, Manchester United. And a lot of Man United fans will be saying top 4. It's not going to happen first season because of the other teams around them. I can maybe see 5th, but the rest, no chance. And Manchester United made some good signings. Tyrell Malacia last season for Feyenoord, right, in the Europa Conference League final. It got them to the Europa Conference League final. He was very good. He's a young player. But Christian Eriksen, this is a fantastic signing. And the main one, though, is another centre-back, right? Lisandro Martinez. He's a little bit short, but I don't think I'm too worried about that. Manchester United could be really pushing on this year. But when I say pushing on, I mean Erik ten Hag has got to work with the system and he's got to improve players like Sancho, Rashford, Martial. He's got to get them back to what they were before, right? And I'm interested to see whether Mason Greenwood is going to play for them or not. Because if he, I don't know whether he's back or whether he's not allowed to play for them yet. But if he is, then wow. But I don't see them making top 4. Because in 5th place, I've got Chelsea. Now, Chelsea won't make top 4 either. Because I can see Thomas Tuchel going very soon. And then I don't see a replacement. Because Tuchel is a brilliant manager. I just think he will go. Because of the board, they'll want to put their own manager in there. And it could be a long season for Chelsea because they don't have a striker. But good signings. And last season, look at the strikers though. Like Timo Werner last season scored 4 goals in the Premier League. Like Kai Havertz last season scored 8. This is not what you need. You need a 20-goal man for Chelsea. And it's not going to happen. And that is why they won't make top 4. Arsenal in 4th. And look at their pre-season. They've been flying, mainly due to Gabriel Jesus, who I think is going to be signing of the season. He looks unreal for Arsenal. He scored like what? He scored like 5... I swear he scored like 7 goals in pre-season for Arsenal already. And last season, his stats, he scored 8 goals and got 8 assists for Man City, where he didn't even play that much, right? He's a really good player. Martinelli, a year older. Martinelli's 21 still, right? Bukayo Saka, mate, Saka's 20, right? Those guys are so young yet so good. Fabio Vieira they've signed, right? He's 22, and a big signing as well. Alexander Zinchenko, right? He is been brought in from Manchester City. He's 25 years old, and he's a top quality player. Good left back, can play in the midfield, and Arsenal won't make top 3, but they're pushing on. Also with William Saliba coming back from loan. Again, another 21-year-old. This squad is so young. Moving on to their North London rivals in 3rd place, Tottenham Hotspur. And Antonio Conte is a brilliant gaffer, and he will get them top 3, right? And Kane and Son and Kulusevski, but look at the window that they've had. Oh, it's unbelievable, right? Richarlison, what a player. Jed Spence, right? Last season in the Championship played so well, right? And then you add to that Yves Bissouma, Ivan Perisic, Clement Lenglet. Oh, this team's scary. Yves Bissouma in particular. Brilliant player. This team scares me as a Liverpool fan. However, who has won the league? Liverpool win the league! Yes, according to my predictions, Liverpool are winning the Premier League. Come on, the lads. And I think Man City are going to finish 2nd. And I think, yes, I think Liverpool will win the league, right? And basically, Manchester City have got brilliant players, but Liverpool will have more fight after last season. And Haaland, I don't think it'll work out in the first season that much. And I think it'll work out in the end, but probably not first season, because look at the history of Man City players that Pep has to get used to the system. And Darwin Núñez looks unbelievable so far, right? Man City, they'll be there or thereabouts. Obviously, they're a brilliant club, great manager, but Liverpool will win the league. And just look at the team. If you look at starting 11, Liverpool have a better starting 11 than Man City. The only reason City have been winning the league is because they have more depth. However, they've lost Jesus, lost Sterling, lost Zinchenko, lost Fernandinho, and they haven't replaced that many of them. So there's less players to rotate there this year, and it'll be a very interesting league, but I think Liverpool are going to win it. No bias involved. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Drop a like on the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.